All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Anohana, episode 6. Sadness and broken
and it's wonderful.
hearts. And
beautiful.
It's beautiful. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And we love it.
We love it.
We love it so much.
Yeah. Yukiatsu, man.
Yeah. And, you know, he's like, once that happened, he's doing a lot better. You know?
He's doing so much better.
Way
In some
better.
ways, he's actually doing the best right now.
Mm-hmm. And he's helping other people, you know? Like he helped Anaru out a lot, but
he's putting in an effort that is not focused.
Right.
It's not selfless, but it's
right,
not,
but it's free.
It's directed towards others. And what I think is really special here is that, you know, every character has their own selfish tendencies that they're kind of going towards that we see in the earlier episodes, I would say more. But as things have gotten later into the story, we're starting to see which characters are kind of getting stuck in that self-focused situation because either their trauma or situation in general is one that is getting worse or better from their perspective. But then there are some of them who are in kind of stagnant positions who seem to be kind of giving off little bursts of energy as if they're like, hey, I'm doing okay. No, I'm doing okay. And that's kind of like the Anarus and the Popos, you know?
Sure.
And then Tsuruko is stagnant. Tsuruko is definitely stagnant. But that Jinta, he's spiraling.
He's
down.
Yeah.
Like, it's not looking...
Right.
It's not looking as good for him.
Yeah, it very much feels like that thing where you start to peel off a Band-Aid and you're like, no, that hurts, and you stop. You know?
Yeah.
In fact, you like sort of push it back down.
Right. Even though you should replace the Band-Aid.
Right.
Because... Yeah. But y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Okay.
この世に心残りがあって成仏できないだって、俺の知っているメンもあいつだって笑顔で
誰がこんなブス
Who eats chips like that? Who eats chips like that?
それがただ頭を下げるだけじゃないって、それぐらいのことは分かってる。学校
Saw that coming. I'm like, you're just casually watching a horror movie with like complete and total disinterest.
Yep.
About a dead girl haunting, you know. Yeah, I see what you're doing there, show. And then jump scare. I'm like, yeah, there you go. That woke him up. God, I love the song for the OP, even though I like the ED like way more as far as the song goes.
Like, both are good, but the ED is
the
just...
visuals for this OP just kill me, man.
Yep.
They're perfect.
無理しなくていいんだよ
Oh. You're the one that was like, yeah, go, you know?
前は前で前
Careful.
磨き残しなし
Is this the forced positivity kind of thing?
Does seem like it could be.
Let's see.
成仏ってしてますか
Oh, she's not here.
ほんとあれだろ1年3組の
そうそう安城なる子
Whoa.
Anjo.
Was that a teacher?
Yeah.
拍子抜けとはこのことか。俺のことをちょっとは気にしてるようなやつもいるけど。
But nah, they've got other things they're thinking about right now.
ずっと来てなかったやつじゃね。
PTA に見られたんだって
Of course.
しかし。
はい席について
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
しくったねなる子
I hate those people. I hate those people.
Yeah.
Like, not those girls specifically, but the kind of people that are like, oh yeah, we're trying to get you into a thing like this, and then once it doesn't suit them, they're like, oh, nope.
安城ノート取ってんの
Dumped.
頼めばやらせてもらえるかも。
Oh yeah.
Yep.
恩女
Whoa. Oh.
Oh. お前ら久々に学校に来た男だ。入学式と最初の1週間しか聞きてね。どうだこの顔。
あれ君は宿美くん。
こいつなんていつでもどこでもホイホイ会える。ラブホ？それぐらいで大騒ぎか。こいつはどう見たってラブホの一つや二つ言ってそうな。こいつに限って遠行なんて。それに何しろこいつは A 型ヤギ座。冒険なんてみんなクソ真面目でメガネでぶっちゃ面で物持ちよくて整理整頓大好きでちっちゃい時からちまちましたもん集めててメガネでそりゃもうクソつまんねえ女だ。そんなこと言うんだ。
That was amazing!
Well, now people are definitely going to be talking about something else.
Yep, yep.
俺を見ろだってどう考えたって変態じゃん。
せや
でも
Oh,
ありがとう。
yeah.
私のこと
Yeah.
顔はない。
That was just
Right.
improv.
お前の母ちゃんも心配してるだろうし。
Oh.
Because you have one.
Yeah, I was going to say it, but thanks a lot.
家には帰らない。
Ah, that was amazing. Yep.
だってあんなのお前よ。
ほとりが冷めるまでだってば。
汗やら涙やらなんやらいろんな男汁に染み込んで。
男汁ってのが臭いから掃除しますから。
Jesus. Gross.
触んな。
Gross. Oh my god. Of course he goes there and jacks off to magazines. Jesus.
いやいないけど。
Oh,
マジ
buddy.
で？だったらさ、メンマの家に行ってみね。メンマのお願いのヒントがつかめるかもしんないし。メンマんち行くのやめね。
Here we go. Here we go.
てかそもそもメンマの家って遊びに行ったことないじゃん俺ら。ああ、メンマの親父さんえれえがかったもんな。
Oh, really?
いい機会かもよ。みんなが来てくれるなんて。
Oh.
喜んでいるわ。
Okay. All right.
猫に挨拶してあげてくれるかしら。
Ah, yes. This is fine.
Yep.
Fine.
Nope, no problem at all.
No problems. Aw. It's a sweet, goofy kind of picture, you know?
鶴見さん。
Okay, wow, that went way better than I thought it was going
これ
to.
渡してくれって。
Do it yourself. Yep.
ちょっと鶴見さん。
I love Sudoku.
偉そうに。松雪くんのこと好きなんでしょ。何よ。行こう。
帰るの？気をつけて。近頃この辺変なやついるし。
He's free now. He doesn't feel like he needs to pretend anymore, so
Yep.
yeah. And that's gonna aggravate her a little bit because she's gonna be like, wait a minute, how are you, the biggest dunderhead of the
Right.
6 of us, the most free right now?
Yeah, because... Yeah, uh-huh.
噛まれてるんだ。迷惑かけるな。
あんたの女性写真送ってやったら一発でその悩みも解消だろうけど。
だろうな。
You could, but who cares,
そうい
right?
う宿ミラー。メ
Yeah.
ンマの家に行くらしい。過去を過去にはできないってことで。
Nope.
松雪敦を筆頭としてね。
否定しない。
Yeah.
素直になったもんね。
お前相手にしちゃどんな言い訳も聞かないだろ。メンマの名前まで出してきやがって。どこまで人をコケにする気が済むんだ。秘密基地に集まろって言わなけりゃ。
あの日はメンマが言い出したんじゃなかったっけ。
Oh.
そう
何か相談が。
そう。メンマが
No
相談したいことがあるか。
Oh, no way. Oh, no way. Don't do this to me, show. I see what you're doing here. I see what you're doing. Oh, no. The past, diary, dad was scary. She called everyone.
お父さんがね、いつまでもメイコにとらわれるなって。
そういうの見えちゃったら余計に辛いじゃない？
見えた。
母親の気持ちとかさ。わかんないけど、やっぱり子供のことってすっごいめっちゃ重いと思うよ。ヒロ、ちょっと帰ろうかな。別に親が
But you just started your runaway.
Right,
や
right.
んなきゃいけないことを思い出しただけ。じゃあね。
It's not like I'm gonna sleep there or anything.
素直じゃねえな。じゃあ先に。まだ俺がいない間は見るな。みんなよ。ぼっち。
Oh.
見えちゃったら余計辛い。見えなきゃよかったのか。いや、なんつうか流れでさ、お前の母ちゃんに会って。
バッシュート。
え？
バッシュート。バッシュート。バッシュート。
メンマ。
そんなことしたらママのこと思い出しちゃうじゃない。でもママにすごく寂しい思いさせてる。萎縮させたくないの。
Yep, yep.
もうメンマのこと思い出させたくない。
思い出させたくないって。
忘れてほしいのに。
嘘こけよ。お前言ってただろ。忘れないでいてくれたら
Yeah, 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 you did.
お前はいつもそうやって
Yeah, you don't get to choose who forgets who.
もっと自分のこと考えろよ。イライラすんだよ、そういう態度。俺は
ジンタ、話。
ちょっと待って。
そんで上向いて寝るの。そしたらだんだん収まって。ジンタ。
Oh, wow. It was
Yep.
getting really good. Then stupid distraction. That's how stressed he was. Literally caused his nose to bleed.
お前こそ家に帰ったんじゃ。てかその格好。
Okay, that's great. That's great.
Right.
She's like, I gotta put my bra back in.
Right.
Wait.
間違いない。
But there's an actual reason for it. He had a nosebleed earlier.
He's out. Now he has no choice but to sleep there.
Next episode starts, he has a black eye.
Little bit of blood trailing next
Right.
to the nose and stuff like that. Jeez, I think this episode teased us more than they ever have in the show. Like, it actually started to make me like angry for a second. 'Cause I was like, no. We had the premise established. Everything was set in place. Now it's about them processing things. We don't need sudden, drama about, but why were they all there? Oh, she called everyone, invited everyone there. Oh, I'm gonna be angry by the time this show's over. There's going to be a moment. I just know it now. Damn it. I hope it's not what I think it is, but
What do you think it is?
well, they gave a number of hints that could all point to this, but it really is
I
just
don't think it's what you're thinking.
I don't think it is either, but I'm more just in. It's more not that I don't think it what is. I won't accept that. That will anger me to no end.
Oh, yeah, same.
Okay, just right out the gate, really quick. Went back and looked at the episode. The hints that I was looking at. They're not what I was thinking of. I was thinking that there was starting to be a little bit of a picture pushing towards some kind of home life issues with regards to Menma and her father, but
Yeah, not the case.
I don't think that's the case here anymore. Yeah. I think what more this was about the idea of forgetting. And there are a lot of things that when you deal with trauma and you deal with a lot of specific stuff in that regard, forgetting is actually a really healthy defense mechanism at points.
For a time.
Well, yeah. You can't like unforget something,
Well, Yeah, but there's the defense mechanisms that we use and that these characters use to make it so that they can survive basically this traumatic thing that happened.
Right, totally.
And
totally.
and because of that, they sort of get into this status quo where they're not feeling too much pain at the moment. But then when they actually go and try to, fix things,
pull it up and
they have to pull it up
process
and
it.
process it, and that hurts like
It
hell.
hurts a lot. Yeah.
And
yeah.
multiple characters are realizing that.
Right.
Jinta's realizing it, Menma's realizing it,
Yep.
Yukiatsu already realized that,
Yep.
And
Yeah. When I'm talking about forgetting, there's a difference between
Oh.
forgetting and not focusing on something.
okay.
Basically, what they all had was some really, really powerful emotional trauma happen when they were younger. And thus, a lot of them chose to ignore it.
Right.
That is not forgetting. I'm talking about where a lot of them are trying to intentionally do things that pushes them to where they actually no longer have to think about it at all. That's what Menma was trying to basically, have things happen with her mother there and basically saying, no, don't do that. You'll make her remember me. And that's basically reminding that, no, you can't actually forget in that
Right,
regard
but
there.
if I can make it so that even for a little bit of time she forgets about me, then wouldn't that be worth it? Because then she doesn't have to feel that pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's then setting up a lot of the things to where in the episode we have characters that just straight up go, wait a minute, I forgot about that. Wait a minute, there's some details here that we
Yeah.
need the full picture on. We need to probably go and ask everyone else to be like, hey, what?
Why did we meet again
Why
that
did
day?
we meet again that day? Because it was a long time ago, so they forgot a lot of the details.
And there
So-
were kind of more pressing things that pushed that out of their mind.
Right, which means that that's probably Menma's wish, was to fulfill the thing of what they originally brought them, what she originally brought them all together to do,
Gotcha.
and that they didn't do because she died like later that day. So yeah, there's that. Okay, we have a lot of characters right now who are also starting to experience a little bit of freedom.
Yeah.
And Jinta, my read on him from the previous episode was that he wasn't doing well because he was starting to close himself off. He starts to get a little bit of that, I would say almost like a resurgence of energy just in that regard, and he kind of channels that into going to school.
Yep.
And in some ways, because it's weird how this works sometimes, because Inaru was dealing with something worse, really, in a lot
Right.
of ways than what he was experiencing, the energy to rise to the occasion just it filled him up in that moment,
Yep.
and he was able to do something that was so perfectly just off the wall, out of nowhere.
Yep.
Like, he almost became my favorite character in the moment
right in
there.
that instant?
Like,
Yeah.
to where I was like, wait a minute, I've been sleeping on Jinta. What the hell was that, dude? That was so good.
Yep.
And it made sense how it was structured, so it didn't feel like it was something that was all, something that he thought up. No, he was flying off the cuff of
Yep. Absolutely.
just saying things.
Hence him
It
saying
didn't
some
even make
things
sense.
where Naru's like, hold on now.
Right. But it was honest. And this is the part where I think it's kind of interesting to compare that they did the whole Yukiatsu comparing and competing with
Sure.
him there, is that in that moment, he was just making it up as he went along.
Yep.
But in some ways, he was actually being perfectly honest.
Yeah,
and
it was very genuine.
Right, which I just think that it's funny because earlier in the same scene, he was actually giving a little bit of honest shade towards her, just being like, she was never really that smart. Like, he was making little bits of comments and stuff like that of like, yeah, he doesn't have the highest opinion about her because he doesn't, he's not in love with her or anything like that.
Right. Much to her chagrin.
Yeah, exactly. So in that respect there, it felt really natural to have him saying things that was like, oh, that's a little insensitive and a little bit like, wait, you really think that? Like, because all the other stuff felt like he's just word vomiting, right?
Because it could be very easy to take it as him just sort of trying to like white knight her or something like that. And he was definitely standing up for her, but it also came from this place of, no, I came here expecting that people would be saying all the nasty things about me. And that's what's kept me from school for so long. That's what's made it take on this life of its own. Because I'm like, okay, of course they're going to be like, oh yeah, he's the guy that never shows up here. Right. And there were a couple people that were like, wait, who is that again?
Even the teacher was like, Yadami?
Yeah, right. Yeah, but
at the roster. Yeah.
But then he's like, oh no, that's being turned on someone else. To hell with that.
You should turn that on me.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that kind of shame.
Right.
Shame me.
I came here prepared to deal with that. So, damn it.
Yeah.
Right.
Give me some of that ire.
Exactly.
What's wonderful about this is that it is a selfless act, and it has the elements of it being something where he utilizes, I would say, the positive energy that might have been faked in order to get him just here, but also a little bit of that, hey, stop bullying my friend kind of thing, which is that protector energy coming out. So it was for him as well. Right. Like it wasn't a purely selfless act. It was wonderfully selfless. But it was also a way that he could, get out a lot of his frustrations and stuff and just yell at everyone in that regard. So it felt really cathartic for to be a viewer and be like, oh, they're both getting kind of what they want here. This is wonderful.
Like, because, okay, I don't know about you or any of you guys, but one of the things that when I'm having like a really bad day, and it's a total downward spiral, can't get out of it, and it's all just a mucky mess in my head, right?
Yep.
But then all of a sudden I see somebody who seems to be having a worse day than me, even if it's for circumstances that might seem more extreme than mine, or maybe even way less extreme than mine. But it can kind of put things in perspective where all of a sudden you're not thinking about yourself, right? And once you're not thinking about yourself, even if it's for an instant, your problems become way easier, right?
It's the positive flip side of the coin of condescension. It's basically the thing of saying like, at least I don't have it as bad as that person. And it's like, oh, that we are like, you are 1 degree off from going into some really just nasty shit. But you're right, it takes you off yourself and it makes you think like, well, wait a minute. I am experiencing a lot of pain, yeah. But I'm not inert, I'm not dead,
right.
I'm not completely lifeless here. Maybe I can do something good here.
Right.
And even if it's just you acknowledging that, putting in perspective like you were saying, imagine if you actually found a way to be able to then empathize even more with someone who is going through pain because of the pain you're going through, that you actually ended up helping yourself because of how much you were just there for someone else. It's weird how connected we are, people.
So fun little trivia tidbit or whatever. Even the term condescension, right? We have this negative stigma for it.
For it, yeah.
But it didn't always have to be a negative thing. Sometimes it was something where it was, you see someone that is in a position that is for some reason or from some perspective less fortunate than yours, right? So you condescend to help them out. You go down, you're like, hey, what's up, right?
Right.
Now, the negative stigma usually comes from the idea of you're then sort of putting yourself up on the high horse of, yes, I'm above you, so I suppose I'll help you out.
It's not humble in that regard.
Right, exactly.
Using pride and
But in Jinta's situation, it's like, oh, wait, like, he was even thinking about it. He's like, I was worried about being like, oh, I'm the person who never comes to school. Whereas they're stirring up all kinds of rumors about her and like, oh, she slept with this old geezer and, blah, 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 blah. And, oh, I'm pretty sure she's a hooker, like, and he's like, okay, that's...
This
all right, hold on.
Ridiculous.
Hold on, this is ridiculous, and there we go.
And he managed to somehow do this without... Like, in some ways, the teacher, let it happen. Which, I gotta say...
just so surprised.
Well, yeah, I think the teacher was so shocked that he was like, wait, is this, part of the... were they in, a Japanese or an English, class or something like that? It almost felt like they were in a language thing because he said, "tis!" And then when he's like, "Tis? Wait, what?"
Really?
The way he responded in that regard there, they were just like... look at me. It's been a while since I came to school. I came for the entrance. How's my face? Tis an uncommon sight, I'm sure.
Right.
Oh, that's
right.
And then one guy's like, tis or something like that. Like, what is it? Yeah. Tis.
And then the teacher's just like, who is this? Yadami. Like, and I love how at the beginning he doesn't really know what he's doing, right?
No,
but he's like, I
not.
gotta do something. So he's just sort of talking, right? And you can tell. But the true victory of this scene, I feel like, was not that he actually got the classroom to completely forget about what was going on and be like, what weird shit is he doing right now? But it was actually that he was able to get Anaru to forget about her own situation so that then she's like, hold on, he's talking all kinds of stuff about the embarrassing secrets from childhood of like being nerdy and stuff like that and wearing glasses.
She's actually like hella boring and stuff like that.
Right, and she's like, okay,
that's enough. But what I also loved is he said that she had glasses twice. Like he was so rambling that he literally uses the same line twice.
But then she's like,
so good.
All right, grabbing you, taking you outside, you know, because of course she's got to put an immediate stop to the situation, which, again, draws her attention from her previous situation, and now it's, oh my God, this kid is embarrassing me,
right?
You know, right? And then she's laughing in the very next scene.
It's so good.
Because she's so like, good. What were you thinking? Yeah. What was that? I appreciate it, but seriously, you know. And
I have seen only once probably in my life someone do the equivalent of what Yadami did.
Oh, yeah?
Which is basically where you have someone who's getting a lot of negative, nasty crap just slung around a social group. And they start to become aware. They start to become aware of how much shit everyone's saying. And then someone who's completely not like a part of it at all, like comes in and just goes, wow, like, and just like derails the whole thing. And it's not a thing of where they're like, oh, look at me, just focus on me, I'm condoning the stuff that's going on here. There was like actual vehement frustration in this guy's voice regarding how people were shit talking this girl, and it was like, oh damn, I wish I had the stones this guy has. Oh my God, well done. Yeah, I applaud people like that because it's going against the grain, even when
it's
you have
hard.
In Jinta's case where
you've already been feeling like you're against the grain.
Well,
kind of thing.
he's outcasted like himself basically, so he doesn't have much weight in terms of value of the social opinions of the people in the room.
But that's one of the things that I love about it, because it also ties into what Yukiatsu was saying of measure any metric and I beat him, right? I did it. I competitived it out, and what's he got? Yeah. Well, Jinta just took the very fact that he's a social outcast and is kind of...
And used it.
Yeah. Identified himself as such.
Right.
And then used it. There you go. And it was something that was complementary to this particular situation.
Oh, it was wonderful. God damn it, Popo, though. Clean after yourself. Jesus Christ. That was just nasty.
But it totally makes sense, though, right? Because if he's just been living here
bring
in
a
between
waste
traveling,
basket at the very least.
Well,
I'm not talking about that he was doing that. I'm talking about the fact that he freaking left it all around all over the ground. That's just gross, man.
But if this has been like a few days or a week or something like that since the start of the show, I don't know. Yeah. Like the idea that he's probably been doing this for years, right? And he's like, no one's ever gonna come up here, right? Like, and then all of a sudden it's like
they just had the barbecue.
Those years of habits.
The not barbecue in Yukiatsu.
Yes.
You're telling me that in between that time and this, he's set up like 12 to 15 like laden tissues basically like all over the place. Jesus, that's just nasty.
Old habits die hard.
Anyways, yeah, that was just gross. Going to see Menma's house, her room, her mom.
And her mom seemed pretty good at first.
She was kind of lost in a little bit of probable thought of seeing like all these kids that were friends and stuff and being like, wow. And then, he catches her staring and it's just kind of a little awkward moment there. But one of my favorite interactions and exchanges, just in general. I've told you guys how much I love Suruko, like
Yeah.
so much. But then when we have these girls showing up and being like, "Can you give this love letter to your guy friend?" You know, and she's just like, "We're in the same class. Do it yourself." I'm like, yes, queen. Like,
Yes.
thank you. Like, can we, like,
She
can we
is
shout out
so
Suruko?
done.
She's just so done with other people's nonsense.
And yet at the same time,
At the same time, she is so
Like,
angry
it's-
at Yukiatsu.
Oh, yeah.
Jealous of Yukiatsu even.
and
Like-
so hypocritical too, because
Oh
she's
my
like,
God, yes.
she's like, you're in the same class. Tell him yourself. And we know how Suruko definitely doesn't project. But Suruko, you have known him since you were a tiny little adorable baby, however old you were back then. You have still been hanging out with him constantly since then.
Years.
You and him share secrets about things that no one else knows.
And what does he...
And what
Like-
do you do?
Yeah, what does he not know?
like,
Oh my God. I just love her. She's so flawed and it's so perfectly flawed.
yep. And then he comes in and he's like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" You know.
And he even kind of gives like the consideration towards them, and she's just like, really, like,
Yeah.
like, and the fact that he doesn't even entertain the fact that her stares, which are meant to, I'll just go out straight there, control him just a little bit.
Oh.
You know, yeah. He's just like, who cares? I'm free now. Like, I don't care about giving you excuses or giving you any kind of veiled stuff or anything like that. I'm honest now.
Yep.
He's like, this is in some ways just like the new me, and yeah, I don't like me that much. I don't like, all this stuff at all. It's Yukiatsu is amazing right now.
Oh,
but
yeah.
But it's wonderful because he'll be self-deprecating in a way that's not trying to make light of it.
Right. It's acceptance, like pinnacle of acceptance right now
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Yukiatsu.
She's like,
It's
yeah,
wonderful.
I could send them your cross-dressing pictures, and he's just like, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
You could. And he's just
By the way.
yeah. There's no thing of like you won't or
Right.
nothing like that.
It's just
Yeah, you
do
could.
what you want, Yeah.
Yeah, do what you want. Oh my God, I've got to say, this is probably, oh my God, this is one of my favorite things about their dynamic so much. And it's why I kind of like Suruko still a little bit more than Yukiatsu, even though Yukiatsu's amazing right now, is that Yukiatsu does the basic thing of like, because of where he's at right now, it's just like, yeah, you can do whatever you want.
It's like the ultimate Chad move.
It is not only the ultimate Chad move, it is the thing that probably pisses off Suruko so much.
Oh my God,
Because
yes.
she's like, no, I can't just do anything I want. I have very specific things that I want, and if I
I still won't do those things that I want.
No, right, but if I do these other things, then what I want will not be able to be done. So,
Right.
Not
that I'm getting that anyways.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So everything about their dynamic is just, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. She's even trying to do a little bit of the, maybe the thing to try and get a little bit back on his good side here by kind of shit-talking Yadami a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Which is weird because she kind of took Yadami seriously as well.
Even if it was maybe just to sort of get Yukiatsu to face what he was going through.
Right. So it just shows in a lot of ways how flawed she is. She's even trying to control this situation a little bit to make him, like her a little bit more. And then he just goes, well, not everyone can get past their own past. And I have to imagine the face that is on her face right now.
Like one of
It's
those anime vein pop out.
Yeah, I was literally putting my hand up there to specifically make that thing there. And it's just like,
It's so good. It's so good. Like,
and then she throws back, again, projecting, Matsuyuki Atsumu being the prime example.
yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
and like, okay.
Yep.
Then she kind of gives the, you've gotten honest,
None of my excuses work on you anyway. And he's just open. He's like, Yadami really pisses me off. Like,
you know what's so great about this? He's just processing. He's just talking out loud. Like, one of the things that makes me want to connect with someone so much more is when their words aren't specifically meant for me.
Oh, uh-huh.
You know that feeling when someone's talking to you?
Yes.
But they're not saying... dropping my headphones here. When they're speaking to you, but they're not really like... They're kind of crafting their words for you. He's not doing any of that.
Nope.
She is 100% doing that for him. Like at key points. At key points.
Right.
Not always, but key points. And he's just like not even looking her direction. He's just like, God, he's like, why does this guy piss me off so much? I have been competing with him for all this time.
Right.
I won the competition.
Indisputably won this competition.
And yet, I love the characters in this show.
Yep.
So good.
Like, even after previously when he was like, hey, Anjo, you want to go out? You know?
Yeah.
Now, in this episode, the two of them aren't even, interacting really.
Yep.
Anjo ends up having this great moment with Yarami.
Yep.
And even though Yukiatsu was the one who actually scared off the guy. Like,
oh, man. Oh, my God. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I am really curious, though, about what then will be the details of what Menma called them all to meet up together, for specifically. Although I think it's just going to end up being revealed that was what the wish was as to why she's here.
This is the middle episode, so it is.
So we need to start.
That would be kind of a fitting place to have it happen, since now the characters have kind of gotten established, even though they some of them have begun
Popo's
the journeys of.
Needs the most extra stuff right now.
Yes, Popo does.
He's a little bit overdue. But we started to have a little bit of a hint at that here at the end bit when they all had stuff that they needed to do, and he has the.
Am I the loner? Yep.
And it's like, yeah, you are, buddy. You're the one that ran away and jumped all over the globe and avoided contacting anything familiar.
I mean, they all tried to cut off contact, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he went far.
Yeah.
He made it impossible.
Why?
Oh, why indeed?
Yeah.
Why indeed? They have her journal, which I am curious to know, like, how that's going to be used. Because in one area, it's going to bring up the fact that, Menma and Jinta had, at the very least, unrequited feelings and such. So that's going to be a thing. But it'll be interesting to see how close up to the date of import the diary goes up to as well.
And then we get the whole thing where, well, he says, "Oh yeah, we went to your house." Menma, of course, freaks out. She's like, that you realize what you're doing to my mom, right?
Yeah.
Like
that was bringing me to tears just in and of itself. But then he calls her out, and this was the episode of memories and honesty, and in this point, Menma is now, being dishonest here.
And I love that we have this in here because it would be so easy for the focus to just be on the characters that are still alive and then processing Menma's death because, of course that needs to be done, right?
Yep.
But if you're going to have a ghost, right?
Yep.
Ghost can have growth too, especially if it's about them passing on.
Yep.
Then there would need to be something, right, that they are not accepting.
Yep.
Totally. So, and even if they don't necessarily know what it is, that's fine. But that just means there's more room for growth. So, yeah.
So here we are. And then we get the classic establishment for the nosebleed joke later.
Right.
With Naruto. That's...
Yeah. Yep.
All right,
because
Joe.
I love it
Good job.
because it's totally a trope, right?
Oh, yeah.
And yet the whole point of it is that it's sort of the embarrassing thing of like, basically being able to see your boner kind of a thing, right? But instead it's the, no, I swear that's not actually what it is. I had a nosebleed earlier. There's a reason my nose is bleeding, and it's not because of your clothes, even though I just commented on your clothes.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah, and then immediately afterwards, there's...
Throw stuff at him and...
Well, she throws stuff at him, jumps on top of him, and, he's blushing and runs out of the house. So he did start to get a little bit,
with Menma.
Embarrassed and stuff in that regard with Menma, and then goes up to the secret base to hide and catches Anaru with the having just probably removed her bra at some point, just kind of relaxing,
changing into her night clothes or whatever.
Changing into her night clothes, exactly. And she's like, the hell are you doing here? Which, by the way, I actually have to give just props here, because there's a couple times where I see kind of weirdly choiced character animation movements, but just the girl holding herself like this
when she still has a top on, like
that is so realistic. That is so freaking realistic. When you hang out with a lot of girls and they have that moment where they're like, crap, I should probably go put on a bra again, and they just have that moment of like, I wanted to see if I could
be free.
I wanted to be free and see if I could just go without this, but no, I guess not. And there's that frustrated like grabbing of the girls as they're like, damn it, and they go back, and then angrily you hear them like put on the bra, and you're like, I mean, it's all your choice. I mean, whatever you want, I don't mind either way.
Well, and I love here
care.
that it wasn't something as like overt as like, oh, she's completely naked. She just was like taking a bath in the river or something like that. It's like, no. It's a lot more like just basic than that,
real.
but still something that she wouldn't want, him to see her, and especially since she has the crush on him. So it's like, hold on, go out, please,
Right.
Yeah. And of course
we almost got the I wish you would be horny for me or something, baka, but we didn't get that. We got a lot more just
almost
hentai and tossing tires, which sure, why not?
Tires, the final cherry on top. It's great. Love it. And the whole idea that, wait, didn't you say you were going to go home because your mom was worried? Your mom would probably be worried because she went there and she's like, oh yeah, that's what it's like to have a mom who, lost their daughter.
Yeah.
Maybe I should be a bit more considerate of the mom that always, doesn't knock before entering and things like that,
Yeah.
But
little thing that I just realized we forgot to bring up was I don't know if we should start calling her Naruko now, but Naruto's still fine because it was the nickname from before. But she was writing in her notebook some pretty desperate things.
Oh, yes.
In the school.
And I'm not sure whether that was something where she was specifically hoping that, like, Yarumi would be, like, seeing the notebook. I don't think so.
I 100% think she was not intending for him to see that.
It was just for herself.
Right. I'm just bringing up the point as someone who, when I was stressed out growing up, I would write my stresses out. It was very easy for me to reject self-destructive thoughts when I would write them out. Because basically, when I would read them out, it was then a different voice than my inner voice, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know when you read something and you can tell that it's something that you wrote, therefore you kind of change the voice a little bit?
No, not that.
So when you're reading fiction, your imagination is stimulated, but you're not hearing your voice saying it necessarily. You're trying to like put yourself into the world and the characters are saying it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right? So then when you're reading something that you wrote necessarily, you're not doing that imagination leap.
Gotcha.
So that's a weird way to describe it, but my point is that when you read something that you wrote, there's this extra level of like, oh, this was me. I wrote that. Oh,
okay.
And there's almost maybe this little bit of like, not disgust, but like,
yeah.
Right.
Okay. It's like when you see like that one like bad picture from like, way back when, and you're like,
yeah,
I did make that decision back then, didn't I?
Right. So if you write down your negative stuff and then you read it, even if it's just in your head, you just read it.
Right.
You can
that
get
separation.
You can get that separation of just like,
and in a lot of ways too, the act of writing it down is sort of accepting that is something that you're feeling and making it concrete rather than just some nebulous emotion that can be a lot scarier.
Yup.
And
truth.
Yeah. And also it kind of, I feel like it's fitting for Anaru given the fact that she has trouble being honest about her feelings with anyone else, especially since her friends are, awful, right? And she doesn't want her actual friends to see how she really is.
Yeah.
Then it totally makes sense that she would write in a notebook because that's, because it's still something where then she's being honest with herself, even if she's also sort of being honest with nobody else,
Sure.
So it makes sense that would be sort of the place where she would feel maybe safe enough to express some of those things as well.
But I still think it was a desperation thing.
Oh, sure.
she was in a public place.
Yep.
And it wasn't that she wanted
Alone
Yadami
in
to
a
see it.
crowd.
It's just the thing of like, if I'm reading this, I'm not hearing them say all these things, whisper all these things and stuff. And she was about to break. She was about to.
Oh yeah, like you could just tell that she was about
collapse
to
inward, yeah.
collapse or just leave the room
Lash
or
out or something. Yeah.
Something.
So perfect timing.
Yep.
Well done, Yadami. Good balls on you.
Yep.
And all right, y'all, this is a good show.
Oh yeah.
This is a really good show.
And we're over halfway done.
Halfway. Oh, well, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general, and you can also talk with Jacob about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
Yep, wrote a sci-fi novel that is also sort of that character study between the 6 friends that are like family. If you want to check it out, it's on Amazon. The link is in the description down below.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.